Welcome back, dear students. This is another video on request. In today's session, I'm going to discuss questions and answers from Julius Caesar Act 2, Scene 1, your workbook solutions. This is video number 1, and in today's session, I'm going to discuss 5 extracts. And in video number 2, I'll complete the workbook session. Extract number 1. Where does this scene take place? The setting is important. Learn the setting of each and every scene. This scene takes place at Brutus's orchard in Rome. If you write this whole thing, you will get full marks. Who is Lucius? Lucius is the servant boy of Brutus. And what has been asked to do? What has he been asked to do? Lucius has been asked to get a taper. Taper का मतलब क्या है? Candle in Brutus's study. When it is lighted, Lucius must come and call Brutus here, that is at the orchard. Brutus must be informed. So in this answer, what are the keywords and expressions? Lucius has been asked to get a taper. So candle लाने के लिए Lucius को कहा गया था. और Brutus कहाँ पे थे? ब्रूटस ऑर्चर्ड में थे, स्टडी में कैंडल रखना था, एंड व्हेन द कैंडल इज लाइटेड लूसियस मस्ट कम एंड कॉल ब्रूटस. लूसियस को ब्रूटस को इन्फॉर्म करना था, मैंने कैंडल स्टडी में रख दिया है. सो दिस इज द आंसर, अ कॉम्पैक्ट आंसर. इफ यू राइट लाइक दिस यू विल गेट गुड मार्क्स. एंड नाउ द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, इन व्हाट मूड? मूड हाईलाइट करना पड़ेगा. इन व्हाट मूड इज ब्रूटस इन? Brutus is in a number 1 serious, number 2 reflective and number 3 perplexed mood. Perplexed का क्या मतलब है? Brutus mentally disturbed feel कर रहे थे. He is mentally disturbed. यहाँ पे मैंने ये clearly mention कर दिया है. Used words like perplexed, disturbed, reflective का क्या मतलब है? वो गहरी सोच में थे और वो serious भी थे. He has been thinking. क्या सोच रहे थे? He has been thinking of what Cassius had told him about Julius Caesar's ambition. In the previous scenes, we saw how Cassius, the clever manipulator, was trying to influence Brutus. और इस scene में, Act 2, Scene 1 में, हम Brutus के ऊपर Cassius के बातों का जो impact है, वो देख रहे हैं. And Brutus is also sleepless. Mention this in your answer as well. Next question. What does it refer to? What does it refer to? Now in this question, there are 3 subparts. So change your paragraphs. Make 3 paragraphs. Second subpart का जो answer है, Rome cannot be set free except by Caesar's death. Caesar जब तक जीवित रहेंगे, तो Rome problem में रहने वाला है. रोम के लोग, रोम के जो वासी है, वो कभी शांति में नहीं रह सकते जब तक सीजर जिंदा है. तो सीजर को मार के ही रोम में शांति स्थापित किया जा सकता है. द वर्ड इट रेफर्स टू द एंड ऑफ सीजर्स टिरनी, तानाशाही. सीजर अगर राजा बनते हैं तो रोम में एक तानाशाही रेजिम वो स्थापित कर देंगे. सो बाय किलिंग सीजर they will be able to put an end to Caesar's ambition. It refers to Caesar's tyranny. Number 1, the end of all troubles for Rome. अगर Caesar मर जाते हैं तो रोम में जो troubles है, जो sufferings है, वो सब खत्म हो जाएगा. Number 3, the end of Caesar's ambition, वो भी खत्म हो जाएगा. And freeing Rome from Caesar's ambition. The death of Julius Caesar is suggested. So here I have marked all the keywords and expressions. Now coming to the next question, it's question number 3. Who has convinced Brutus to take such a step? Cassius has convinced Brutus to take such a step. A simple answer. Now what is the motive of Brutus for taking such a decision as expressed in the extract? Brutus has no personal reason to spurn at Julius Caesar. The motive of Brutus for taking such a decision is for the general good. This is very very important. इसका क्या मतलब है? For the welfare of the Roman people. वो जो कुछ भी करेंगे रोमन पीपल के लिए, भलाई के लिए वो करने वाले हैं. उनका कोई पर्सनल सेल्फिश मोटिव नहीं है, कोई रीजन नहीं है। सीजर तो ब्रूटस के दोस्त थे। He fears that Caesar may become a tyrant, a dictator. He does not want Rome to come under such a king. So he loves Rome. Brutus is a true patriot, and this is evident here. As the people will be turned into slaves, so he does not want the Romans to come under such a king, as the people will be turned into slaves under Caesar's tyranny. This is a specific motive. And what does this reveal about Brutus? This reveals Brutus as a patriot, Deshbhakt, a true lover of Rome. His noble character makes him rise above personal feelings. वो noble है, वो honorable है। अपने भलाई के बारे में ना सोच के वो यहाँ पे रोम के वेलफेयर के बारे में सोच रहे हैं। Caesar is a dear friend, but his love for Rome provokes him to move even against his dear friend. इतना कठिन डिसीजन वो क्यों ले रहे हैं? सीजर तो उनके दोस्त है, उनको रोम को बचाना है, रोमन पीपल को बचाना है सीजर के हाथ से, एक तानाशाही रूलर के हाथ से, राजा के हाथ से। What danger does Brutus foresee if the person is crowned as a king? तो क्या होगा? Brutus is apprehensive. Apprehensive का मतलब क्या है? वो डर रहे हैं। He is scared. Use this term. Brutus is apprehensive of how much Caesar will change in his behavior after he has been crowned. Caesar may establish a dictatorial regime and the Romans will live their lives in fear. Very, very important. वो slaves बन जाएंगे और वो डर के मारे वो अपना जीवन व्यतीत करेंगे। डर उनका जीवन, उनके जीवन का एक inseparable part होने वाला है अगर सीजर राजा बनते हैं। How is the danger expressed by referring to the bright day and the adder? The comparison. This danger is expressed referring to the bright day and the adder. It is the brightness of the day that brings the adder out of its hole, with the danger that it might bite people. एक poisonous adder कब बाहर निकलता है? Brightness of day में, सुबह। And that the people will have to walk carefully to avoid being bitten. If Caesar is crowned, the adder-like stinging quality, the poisonous quality in Caesar may be brought out. Caesar एक ruthless, cruel dictator बन जाएंगे. This is the adder-like stinging quality, thus endangering the Romans. वो डसने वाले हैं रोमन्स को अगर वो राजा बनते हैं। वो एक डिक्टेटर बन जाएंगे और कोई भी उन्हें कंट्रोल नहीं कर पाएगा। सो दिस इज वाई दे हैव डिसाइडेड टू assassinate, 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 use this term, assassinate Julius Caesar. What are your feelings? Your interpretation for Brutus at this juncture? Give 2 reasons to justify your answer. So, Brutus seems to be cautious about his action. He is thinking carefully before taking any decision. He doesn't want to take a rash decision, a rash impulsive decision, as it is related to his friend Caesar as well as the welfare of Rome. Though Caesar is his friend, he is prepared to kill him. And he is also anxious as he fears Caesar's ambition. By making him a king, they would be giving him the authority to do harm to others. So this is number 1. Brutus is cautious, he's careful, and he's also feeling anxious. These are the 2 reasons to justify my answer. Extract 2. So Caesar may, what may Caesar do? Your answer must refer to the metaphor of the ladder used by Brutus in his speech. How does Brutus intend to prevent Caesar from doing so? Now these questions, these answers are going to be lengthy because there are 2 questions. Explain अगर हम करते हैं तो ये तो थोड़ा लेंदी होने वाला है, वर्कबुक में फिट नहीं आएगा और फिर मेरा हैंडराइटिंग का साइज भी डिफरेंट है So dear students, use these reference answers according to your needs and requirements. So Caesar may, what may Caesar do? Caesar क्या करेंगे? A young ambitious man in the beginning remains humble, polite, as it is like a ladder. Politeness, humility is like a ladder, serves him to rise up, climb up. He continues with this humility in order to continue his upward climb. जीवन में उन्नति करने के लिए, आगे बढ़ने के लिए एक ambitious man क्या करेंगे? Humble रहेंगे, polite रहेंगे, कितना अच्छा वो बिहेव करते हैं ये दिखाएंगे. However, as soon as he has climbed, जब वो climb कर चुके होंगे to the topmost position, तो वो proud feel करने लगेंगे and he will give up his humility altogether and he will look upward as the clouds. वो नीचे साधारण से जो इंसान है उनको छोटा समझने लगेंगे, छोटा करने लगेंगे. At that time he feels contemptuous, hateful of the humble steps by which he had climbed up. So this is what happens in general. People must stay grounded even if they are successful. पहले तो लोग बहुत humble तरीके से शुरुआत करते हैं, मगर humble beginnings को बाद में भूल के वो success में चूर हो जाते हैं. It is quite possible that Caesar may also behave in that manner. How does? So this is the ladder metaphor. I have explained the ladder metaphor. Next, how does Brutus intend to prevent Caesar from doing so? Brutus intends to prevent Caesar from doing so by killing Caesar before he acquires too much power by becoming a king and before he becomes dangerous. इससे पहले ही सीजर को रास्ते से हटाना पड़ेगा, रोम के रास्ते से हटाना पड़ेगा. इसमें कोई ब्रूटस के पर्सनल मोटिव्स इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. Now give the meaning, and since the quarrel will bear no color for the thing he is, fashion it thus. So you will have to explain this. According to Brutus, there is no cause, color का मतलब cause, to quarrel with Julius Caesar for what he is now. अब तो वो ठीक है, मगर बाद में राजा बनने के बाद वो कैसे बन जाएंगे ये तो बहुत doubtful है. He is not at this time guilty of any offense of that kind that Romans must state the case differently. कंप्लेन करने के लिए कुछ नहीं है जूलियस सीजर के विरुद्ध. They must argue that his present authority, if increased still further, would go to such and such extremes. So, if increased still further would go to such extremes. तो अगर और वो ताकतवर बन जाते हैं तब प्रॉब्लम आ सकता है. The expression fashion it thus means put it this way. Let us put it this way. अब तो हमारे पास कोई कंप्लेन करने की वजह नहीं है, वैलिड रीजन नहीं है, मगर फ्यूचर में क्या होगा हमें नहीं पता. अगर सीजर और पावरफुल बन जाते हैं तो वो लिमिट्स क्रॉस कर देंगे. So this is the meaning. What is meant by augmented? The word augmented means heightened or increased or made more powerful. Annotations. Read the annotations properly. I have not yet uploaded the easy explanation video, और मैं easy explanation videos में annotations डाल देती हूँ, तो मैं try करती हूँ जल्द से जल्द वो easy explanation upload करने के लिए. So you will have no difficulty in answering your questions. Now, how can Caesar be augmented? If Julius Caesar's present powers are increased any further, they will lead him to excess of tyranny. Caesar will misuse power if he is given more power. और कैसे वो होगा? If he is crowned to be the king of Rome. Next, how had there already been an attempt to augment him? So, पहले scenes में हमने क्या देखा? You will have to refer to the scene, Act 1, Scene 2. There had already been an attempt to augment Caesar when in Act 1, Scene 2 at the games held on the feast of Lupercal, Antony offered him a crown 3 times. But Caesar in a diplomatic manner rejected it, pushing it away with the back of his hand. So there were attempts to make him the king of Rome before also. After this, to whom is a serpent's egg compared? What does Brutus want to communicate by using comparison of a serpent's egg? Very important. Julius Caesar is compared to a serpent's egg. What does Brutus want to communicate? क्यों ये comparison कर रहे हैं? Brutus is apprehensive of how Caesar's position would be comparable to a serpent's egg if his authority is allowed to touch an extreme. When a serpent's egg is hatched, it produces the young one of a serpent, which is as dangerous as its parent. The creature inside a serpent's egg must be killed before it comes out of the egg. Similarly, Caesar must be curbed before his power becomes uncontrollable. जड़ से पहले ही उखाड़ देना है. What price would Brutus pay later by preventing a serpent's egg from being hatched? मतलब क्या है? Assassination of Julius Caesar. What is the result? Now this is based on the whole play. Such questions may not come even though you have just a few acts, the first 2 acts. Still, you must know the story, the summary of Julius Caesar. Later, Brutus pays a heavy price, और वो price क्या है? A leading conspirator in the assassination of Julius Caesar, he commits suicide after his defeat at the second battle of Philippi. तो ये सबको अब तुम्हें ये नहीं पता है शायद, because some of you may not have read the entire play. So this is based on the entire play. After reading the whole play, you will be able to understand this section. Caesar's assassination led to a civil war and the conspirators had to flee. Brutus refuses to be captured and also kills himself. So this is the end of Brutus. Free a little bit of correction. To what does Brutus reply? It is good. मैंने ये नहीं लिखा था. So this is the answer. I'll read it out to you. Somebody is knocking at the door. 15 days of march are over. Lucius gives Brutus this information and Brutus replies, it is good. So do the correction. Write this down properly in your notebook. Somebody is knocking at the door. 15 days of march are over. Lucius gives him this information, gives Brutus this information. Therefore, Brutus replies, it is good. Who is knocking at the door? Now the second subpart, this is the answer. Cassius is knocking at the door. He is accompanied by the other conspirators like Casca, Decius, Brutus, Cinna, Metellus, Cimber, Trebonius. Casca is the brother-in-law of Brutus. And why has he come? Cassius has come to see Brutus at his home and win over Brutus and convince him to join the conspiracy against Julius Caesar. He wants to strengthen the conspiracy. Cassius को पता है Brutus कितने honorable है. He is an honorable Roman, respected in Rome. अगर Brutus Cassius को join करते हैं तो कोई Cassius के ऊपर शक नहीं करने वाले हैं. What is the impact of Cassius's earlier discussion on Brutus? Brutus is perplexed, mentally disturbed, anxious, restless, sleepless. Mention these in your answer. Cassius, the shrewd manipulator, roused Brutus against Caesar. He is thinking about Caesar's immense popularity, growing political power and the consequences of Caesar's future kingship and the dictatorial regime. इन सब चीजों के बारे में Brutus अब सोच रहे हैं. He is preoccupied with these thoughts. He is walking about in his orchard. In the middle of the night, Cassius's letter adds to the unsettled state of Brutus's mind. उसके ऊपर Cassius ने letters भी लिखा हुआ है in different handwritings and he has tried to convince Brutus. And it has unsettled Brutus's body and mind. He reflects that he has not slept since Cassius spoke to him of the conspiracy. Very important. He feels as though there is a rebellion in his little kingdom, in the little kingdom of his body. उथल पुथल हो रहा है, ब्रूटस के मन में भी और ब्रूटस के शरीर में भी. In what type of mental frame is Brutus? Brutus is mentally disturbed. Earlier Brutus was in a dilemma. वो सोच में थे क्या करने वाले हैं, मगर अब उन्होंने डिसाइड कर लिया है. Unable to decide how to proceed. By now he has decided to kill Caesar to save Rome from Caesar's tyranny. His commitment to killing Caesar is motivated by his sense of moral duty. And the whole interval between the actual execution of a frightful deed and the first impulse to execute it is like a dreadful vision or a nightmare. So what is a nightmare or a dreadful vision? I'll read out the question to you very quickly. So the question is, why does he compare his condition, mental condition, to a nightmare or horrid dream? So this is the answer. This shows how horrified he is at what he has to do. क्या करने वाले हैं? Assassination of Julius Caesar. The spirit which controls a man and his bodily powers are during the interval engaged in a debate. And this is a nightmare. Give the meaning. All the interim is like a phantasma. According to Brutus, the interval, matlab interim, between the first idea, motion of doing a dreadful thing, plan, and doing it, acting, is like a horrid dream. Phantasma. This shows Brutus's internal conflict, his emotional upheaval. In this way, give the meanings of the expressions that are there in the question. After this, the genius and the mortal instruments are in council. According to Brutus, when the immortal spirit is a genius, read the annotations, learn the annotations and the word meanings from your text. According to Brutus, when the immortal spirit, genius and the mortal faculties, instruments that think and act have arguments in council, ka matlab, then the condition of man, like the condition of a small kingdom, becomes so disturbed that it appears that a civil war is going on inside the mind as well as inside the kingdom. Next. In the last lines of the extract, the mental condition of Brutus is compared to a civil war. Explain how the comparison is made. Use of simile. The mental condition of Brutus is compared to a civil war. The comparison is made with the help of a simile. The condition of a man is like the condition of a small kingdom, and it becomes so disturbed that it appears that a civil war is going on inside the mind as well as inside the kingdom. Extract 4 now. Who comes after this extract? Immediately after this extract, there enter the conspirators. Name the conspirators one by one. How are they dressed? Their hats are pulled down over the ears and half of their faces are hidden by their cloaks. The cloaks are wrapped around so that half of their faces are buried in their cloaks. So in this way they are dressed. Who informs Brutus of the arrival? Lucius कौन है? The servant boy informs him of their arrival. What is meant by the faction? The word faction means party of conspirators, group of conspirators. And thy dangerous brow का क्या मतलब है? The expression thy dangerous brow means forehead, which refers to the appearance of the conspirators, whose minds are filled with thoughts of the terrible plot, assassination they have hatched. You always hatch a conspiracy. So, use this term, hatching a conspiracy. How does conspiracy disguise itself? Personification. At night and during the day, conspiracy can cover its face with smiles and with a show of politeness, affability. During the night also, conspiracy can disguise itself in smiles and affability. It should not try to disguise itself in some dark cavern. What is referred to as Erebus? The mythical dark region on the way from earth to the land of the dead is known as Erebus. Word meanings and annotations. पैराफ्रेज के साथ साथ वर्ड मीनिंग्स और एनोटेशंस भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. And if the conspiracy were to appear with its native semblance on, what would happen? If conspiracy goes forward showing its real self, ugliness, not even the darkness of hell will be able to hide it from those who may want to prevent it from carrying out its purpose. The conspirators must hide their evil intentions behind a mask of courtesy and smiles. Very important. And why is it necessary to disguise the conspiracy? Give two of the precautions taken by the conspirators. The faction has been formed to hatch and strengthen the conspiracy against Julius Caesar. Here conspiracy is personified. It is ashamed of seeing its dangerous face. अपने आप को ही conspiracy नहीं देख पाएगा क्योंकि it is ugly. Even in the darkness of night when evil things are perfectly free to roam about. Since conspiracy will not be able to find during the day any cave dark enough to hide its ugly face, it has to be disguised. Here, if the conspirators do not disguise themselves, conspiratorial plot, assassination will be disclosed. सब लोग जान जाएंगे, प्लान फेल हो जाएगा and वो लोग बर्बाद हो जाएंगे, as happened to Flavius. Again, referring back to the previous scenes, first scene, and then we know how Flavius and Marulus were put to death. The conspirators have drawn precautions. कौन कौन से हैं? They have drawn their hats, कोई पहचान ना पाए, over their ears, and have covered half their faces in their cloaks so that they remain unrecognizable. How, moreover, they have come to Brutus's house in the middle of night. It's the middle of night. दिन के उजाले में अगर वो लोग आते हैं ग्रुप बना के तो शक हो सकता है. Next, extract 5. Who are referred to as we? What is our own cause? State in your own words how the cause itself is a spur. Brutus, turning to the whole group of conspirators, addresses them as we, हम लोग. The group includes Cassius, Decius, Brutus, Trebonius, जो conspirators थे वहाँ पे. They are referred to as we, and Brutus is also included in this group. हम लोग, सब लोग जो वहाँ पे मौजूद थे. What is our own cause? Evil prevails in Rome. Sorrow is written on the faces of the people of Rome. The tribunes are in great distress. इतने सारे reasons है. The sufferings that they are feeling and the corruption of power of this age are sufficient motives. So this is their cause. Thus they will not surrender to the whims. वो लोग surrender नहीं करेंगे of dictator Julius Caesar and curb the tyrannical rule. They will surely curb. So this is their cause. Curbing the tyrannical rule. This is their cause. And their complaint is a motivation that will spur them, act as a spur, urge them to put right what is wrong. जो गलत हो रहा है उसे correct करना है हमें, ठीक करना है हमें. Who had suggested the idea of taking an oath? Cassius ने suggest किया था. Why did Brutus dismiss the idea? Brutus's commitment to killing Caesar is motivated by his sense of moral duty. So he is disturbed. उन्हें ये अच्छा नहीं लगा by the secretive, चुप चुप के, गुप चुप के, ओथ लेके, अविश्वास के साथ, underhanded behavior of the co-conspirators. Thus he rejects the oath. ओथ लेने की क्या बात है? हम लोग noble Roman से, pure blooded Roman से, हम लोग अगर कुछ अपने आप में हम लोग डिसाइड करते हैं तो हम वो जरूर करेंगे. और Caesar's ambition is cause enough for us to take action against him. और कोई वजह नहीं है, ओथ फोथ ये सब लेने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. We must do this for the welfare of Roman people. That's it. Next, was Brutus's decision wise? Now this answer is also based on the reading of the entire play. I have just written it. Go through it very quickly. His decision does not seem to be wise. क्यों? क्योंकि दूसरे जो co-conspirators थे वो उतने patriotic नहीं थे. selfish, wanting to take revenge on Caesar. और हमें पता है Cassius is a clever manipulator. Cassius jealous थे Caesar से और शायद इसीलिए Cassius ने ये conspiracy hatch किया था, मगर वो एक clever manipulator थे और वो Brutus को convince करने में सफल हो गए. So perhaps Brutus's decision was not wise. Just go through it. Next. Explain what is meant by honesty to honesty engaged. अब ये refill का color change हो गया है, so don't mind. I'll just quickly make adjustments. The expression honesty to honesty का मतलब क्या है? One honest man to another honest man united. That is the word of one honorable man given to another honorable man so that they are indissolubly bound by their word. एक होके, एकजुट होके, दो ऑनरेबल पर्सन्स यूनाइटेड होके काम करेंगे. Why is honesty very important for Brutus and his men? Honesty is very important for Brutus and his co-conspirators as they are supposed to assassinate Caesar to punish him for his ambition. अगर वो एकजुट रहेंगे and if they are moved by noble motives, वो सफल होंगे. Later, they will have to convince the Romans also that they killed Caesar not from any selfish personal motives but for the welfare of the Romans to save Rome from the danger of Caesar's tyranny. इसीलिए उन्हें honest रहना है, एक साथ रहना है. Give the meaning of that this shall be or we will fall for it. The expression that this shall be or will fall for it का मतलब क्या है? Conspirators, being honorable men, have promised each other that they will carry out the noble enterprise of killing Caesar successfully or will be prepared to die in the process. करो या मरो. This is their philosophy. According to Brutus, who normally takes an oath? कौन oath लेते हैं? How does Brutus convince his group to uphold Roman nobility rather than depend on an oath? Oaths must be taken by such men as priests, cowards, cunning fellows, old and miserable persons with no vigor or spirit in them. Everything is there in your text. Learn this answer, read the text properly, read a good paraphrase and you will get a list. And such persons who have suffered for a long time and who have been enduring injury and injustice without grumbling. These people will take oath. Undependable persons take oaths to support evil causes. हम लोग क्यों लेंगे? हम लोग तो pure blooded Romans हैं. Brutus advises the other conspirators that they must not mar the steadfast virtue of their enterprise. वो एक महान काम करने जा रहे हैं. रोम को बचाने जा रहे हैं एक तानाशाही राजा को मार के. Or the quality of their unconquerable spirit by taking an oath. Neither the nature of their cause nor the manner of their achieving it demands an oath. It is a fact that every single drop of blood in the body of a Roman citizen is pure Roman blood. So every Roman naturally keeps a promise and they do not need to take an oath. So dear students, in this way I have discussed 5 extracts. Watch video number 2 for the remaining workbook solutions.